Hello everyone and welcome to our weather update on Saturday the 4th of April 2026. So last weekend we said that this weekend was likely to be quite unsettled, and unsettled it will be. Today especially, but tomorrow and Easter Monday will hopefully be a bit drier. So this morning we have a warm front moving northwards over the country, courtesy of Storm Dave, that is currently centred to our west here among these cloud masses. And then we'll see the trailing cold front push up over the country as well through the afternoon and evening. And the strongest of the winds will be on that cold front, as you'll see later on. Current radar, we have rain over the country currently. It clears parts of the south already, but it's staying rather misty and drizzly in those areas this morning. And rain this morning might turn a bit wintry over parts of the far north, especially towards higher ground, and also for Scotland as well. More widespread snowfall is likely across the west and north of the country. Okay, so that's our current coverage done. So here is the UKV high-res forecast for rainfall and cloud or snowfall. So currently we have that warm front again going northwards of the country, starting at, of course, 9 a.m. and that is 8 a.m. GMT and 9 a.m. IST and BST. So as you go through the morning, you can see some pink colours emerging through over parts of North Ulster. Again, some wintry force possible. By lunchtime, the front is over parts of Northern Ireland and into Northern England and Southern Scotland. Behind that is staying quite cloudy, and winds are picking up, especially further west. Now, through the afternoon, we'll see this rain pushing northwards, stalling over parts of Scotland, so very wet there, and over high ground and in parts of the northwest, it goes increasingly to sleet and snow through the evening, and gusty winds from the east and northeast will create some blizzard-like conditions for a while there. So yes, and meanwhile, many parts of Wales and England are staying quite dry, but winds are picking up, and it's also quite cloudy. Some bright spells possibly in the east, and in Ireland we see an active cold front, a narrow but active cold front, move west to east through the evening, with some very lively winds, and some lively winds also in this hook of low pressure. Now, overnight tonight, we'll see Storm Dave clearing away to our northeast, and that cold front will be moving eastwards over parts of the UK, but generally getting a bit less intense as it does clear through. And snowfall does last for parts of western and northern Scotland well into the evening and overnight, so good dumping there of snowfall. Right, so by Sunday morning, we've got Storm Dave clearing from the Northern Isles of Scotland, and we're left into quite a chilly westerly winds. Tomorrow Sunday, we'll see showers turning wintry over Scotland and Northern England, and Northern Ireland as well, especially for high ground. Elsewhere, across Ireland, Wales and England, the mainly rain and hail at lower levels, some sleet over high ground. And through Sunday itself, well, showers will ease off through the afternoon as high pressure does start to ridge in from the south, bringing a temporary break. So next week is very interesting because, well, with high pressure strengthening to our south and east, and low pressure stalling to our west, and the jet stream also getting more amplified, and that helps to stall that low to our west. So you see what's happening here to Monday. We have cloud increasing, high cloud especially. Some rain is just off the chart here to our west. That is that next steep below trying to move in, but these factors that I just mentioned will be limiting its progress. You can see through Monday the chart stays about the same, and in fact, well, for parts of Wales and England it gets brighter and sunnier and warmer as well, because with that high pressure to the east and low to the west, we will drag up the wind from the south. And Tuesday is a bit of a messy day, but Ireland is likely to see rainfall increasing through the day, and quite a mild and humid feel as well, muggy. Wales and England could be warm and sunny. And it's Wednesday. Well, Wednesday gradually sees westerly winds starting to push back in, and by Thursday we could be seeing a day of April showers. So here is the temperature forecasting. See what's going on here. This morning is quite chilly, but the warm sector with Storm Dave will be pushing northwards. So by afternoon, many areas away from Scotland and northern England are seeing temperatures between 10 and 15 degrees. Then, as Storm Dave moves away this evening and overnight, we'll see temperatures lowering rapidly again behind that cold front. So temperatures down into single figures in many areas by dawn on Sunday. Possibly slight frosts for the west and north, where skies are clearest for longest. Now, Sunday itself, in the temperatures will largely not reach 10 degrees away from southern and eastern England, so widely about 5 to 9, and even colder over Scottish Highlands where snow will fall tonight. So even there with sunshine, about a few showers, you can see a nice day on April 5th. Right, so moving on to tomorrow night, well, temperatures will lower once again, frosty in parts, especially over Wales and England and Scotland, getting milder overnight for Ireland due to advancing clouds and strengthening breezes. Now, Monday will be quite a mild day with, especially in England and Wales there, and in the sunshine, it should feel quite decent. Tuesday will be even warmer, highest temperatures in Ireland of 12 to 16, Scotland same values, but for England and Wales, well, 16 to 20 or 21 degrees. It's really quite warm. As it goes to Wednesday, well, again, temperatures getting quite warm there in southern and eastern England, but getting a bit cooler in the west and north of the countries, and by Thursday we're into a cooler air mass again with the showers. Now, I want to cover also the wind gusts, as we do have the storm moving in. So this morning, widely wind gusts aren't that strong, but it's starting to pick up in parts of the, like for me in the southeast of Ireland, it's 7:24 now, and like only currently light breezes, but yeah, it's going to get much worse today. After that warm front clears through, winds will rapidly increase, I think, through the day, and gusts will widely reach across Ireland 40 to 50 miles per hour by lunchtime. Wales and England about 30 to 40, and Scotland still a bit lighter, but again moving in. As we go through the afternoon, well, we see a swathe of really quite intense winds there, moving in along the cold front and along the hook of the low, combined almost into one swathe. So through the afternoon and evening, many areas of Ireland will see a spell of very strong winds, hence that nationwide yellow warning in force, right? That's what's going on today. And that swathe of strong winds will push through the Irish Sea to North Wales and up into, say, northern England. I think the recent models have trended that low a bit for the southwards, because previous models showed extreme winds, like say for parts of the Moray Firth, for example, as the low cleared like a good 100 miles or so further north. So I think that's the lowest now trending southwards. So the strongest winds will now be through Ireland, up through the Irish Sea, North Wales, Isle of Man, northern England, that sort of region. You see that core there, it clears away. Yeah, some strong winds actually do get into the Moray Firth actually by the early hours of Sunday morning. Right, so again, going through, we're going to see winds will be abating quite readily tomorrow. Tomorrow is a bit breezy, but nothing out of the ordinary, and Storm Dave is off the chart by afternoon. So here's the GFS. The GFS run this morning hasn't updated, so we're using our last night's 18Z run. So you can see Storm Dave blown up here. So yeah, quite an intense feature, all right. With this nasty area of low pressure coming through again, if we track the core of the low, you can see again the strongest winds tomorrow afternoon and evening will be moving across Ireland and transferring across the Irish Sea to Wales, northern England, parts of Scotland as well, as the low clears away. It's quite a complex system. I feel like So what I'm seeing on this run from GFS actually is quite interesting, and it probably does match up with what we're seeing on the UKV, with the wind gusts being quite a wide swathe of them. We have several troughs within Storm Dave. So you can see by 9 p.m. today, we have this sort of like kink in the isobars over Limerick. Again, a kink over Sligo and Mayo. So very strong winds over Ireland tonight. And as we go through, the kinks remain over the Irish Sea, but then we get a stronger low pressure centre forming off the east coast of Aberdeenshire there by 3 a.m, 4 a.m. So it's quite a comic system with quite a wide area of strong winds, courtesy of different troughs. So yeah, it's quite a complex system actually, looking at that chart. So going into Sunday, well, Sunday's a brighter day, quite cold with showers. Monday, Tuesday, well, low pressure again is stalling to the west, and we're bringing up a southerly wind. So for the UK, it's quite dry, warm, and sunny. But Ireland will always be closer to the lows, and hence we'll see increased shower activity. Then we go into the end of the week. Well, high pressure's building strongly over Scandinavia, but we end up seeing low pressure coming through for a brief time towards the end of the week. Then high pressure ridges from Scandinavia to the Azores. We see a cold easterly by the 13th. And in general, things trend drier towards mid-month, and probably milder as well with sunshine. This morning's midnight run is not yet out. We'll run through. Storm Dave comes through, and then quite changeable. Last night's 12 says. Again, Storm Dave comes through today. After that, Sunday's quite showery, but decent. Mondays and Tuesday and Wednesday, always worse in the west, better in the east. And we go through, and it does tend to break through with low pressure mid-month. UK Met Run. So Storm Dave with this is what the UKV is based on. Actually, I want to do a side-by-side comparison with the last night's GFS mid 18Z run. So what frame do we have it on? We have it at 6 p.m, so we also ran it up to 6 p.m. 6 p.m, well, we have that low pressure it's centred over Mayo, and it's bringing a very strong swathe of winds to our south. And UK Met Run has that low centred actually over the country, over parts of the Western and North Midlands, and the strongest winds will be, like, say, North Munster, South Leinster with that. So UK Met Run probably on the more southern end of the range. You can see that matches well with our graph from earlier. So yeah, currently still a bit uncertain as to how Storm Dave will play out, believe it or not. So here's the GEM. GEM has the low by 6 p.m. centred over parts of Northern Ireland. And actually the wind's not as strong over Ireland, but by midnight we got really strong winds packing down the western side of Scotland there. So again, each model has slightly different characteristics for the storm, so it's really still uncertain as to how exactly it will play out. Right, so as we go through into Monday, Tuesday, well, southerly winds will come through, high pressure to the east, low to the west. As always, Ireland will be on the less favourable side of this pattern. And as we go through into midweek, towards the end of the week, well, high pressure does start to relent, and we see low pressure starting to fill the gap. Icon. So again, Storm Dave comes through. Let's see what Icon's doing with Storm Dave. We'll zoom in. So by midday, it's having the low elongated to our west. 3 p.m, 6 p.m, 9 p.m. So the Icon only only has like that fierce system as it exits Scotland at 1 a.m. So that's really interesting with the Icon. So, oh my god, the models are still not in agreement, because it is in a process of forming as it approaches us. So it can be very tricky to forecast just how they interact with these parameters and jet streams. So either way, by midweek we're into a more westerly flow. The icon is very progressive with breaking down the high pressure. Here, and finally, the arpeggio. Let's zoom in again and see what's doing. So 12 p.m, the low is to our west, elongated and a bit deeper than what the icon does with it. 3 p.m, 6 p.m. Well, yeah, okay. So strong winds, quite intense winds down parts of the northwest there by 6 p.m, 7 p.m. Very strong winds up into Scotland then. So maybe the UK Met Run is a bit of an outlier in having the strongest winds further south. And we end up again next week having that battlegrounds situation. So yeah, I mean, best place to be for the storm would definitely be Wales and England. Well, Wales, not South Wales, possibly East Wales, most of England, away from the north. Very the exact placement of the strongest core of winds is still up for debate. Even now, which is kind of bad, a bit worrying. But I'd say the most likely spots for it would be northern parts of England and southern parts of Scotland. And there's possibly parts of Ireland as well. And that's why these areas do have a yellow warning in place to cover that risk. Everyone, thanks for watching. I will see you and bye for now.